It's fine. Tracy knows how cameras
Hold
work.
on, I'm not in frame. Fix it. Please.
Tracy, you're the one with long arms.
Oh.
I'm really short, guys. So we're continuing Saw stuff. We just watched Saw 4, which is... I've already forgotten it.
It's really bad.
Oh, you haven't seen Bad yet.
It's like...
You haven't seen Bad.
It's not even like...
I feel like 4 is definitely the worst.
It's not even like,
No,
the
6.
traps are bad. Or it's not even like, oh, they're good or anything. It's just a bad movie. It's
6
just filler.
is by far the
There's just
worst.
like flashbacks upon flashbacks. No one cares.
Yeah, it's completely forgettable.
Yeah.
The traps even aren't that interesting. We get Jigsaw's past, why he's starting to do what he does, and it's kind of a bullshit.
It's really
thing.
stupid. Like, you would honestly expect for something like this, you would expect it to have such a deep, like, intricate past, and then it's all like, yeah, okay, so we tried to have a child, and then my wife, you know, miscarried. Ooh, oh, let's go and kill people. What?
I wish they'd showed him as unstable before, and then it would make sense instead of just us.
I agree.
Well, once you lose your biological child, you can't do anything again ever. It also seems to imply that it was her fault. And
yeah, that's stupid. Like, he got really upset, and then I was like, we were like multitasking and we were watching it, so I was like, wait, hold on, did I miss something? Did I not see why he's upset at her? And they're like, oh yeah, because, you know, like, she miscarried. And I was like, yeah, that actually has nothing to do with her, though. That's not her fault. Like,
and I was like, why are you waiting there? You should leave. You should run away. But she's also, she's the doctor that works there, so she feels responsible.
Yeah, no, I completely understand why she stayed. I think that made complete sense.
She's
so.
a great actor, that woman.
See, I have to look that up now.
She was important before this. She got the job because she's friends with the director, so.
I still remain my statement that 6 is the worst, but we'll get there.
I think 4 is the worst, but we'll see. We'll see. Probably, hopefully tonight, but we'll see if Tracy gets too tired again.
Listen, I don't need your sass, okay? It really felt like when you're watching it, it actually doesn't feel like a Saw film. It feels like cop drama. It's like, oh, that's what we're doing. We're back at the police station. We're trying to deal with the murder mystery. Like,
it's a CSI episode with torture porn thrown in.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad. It's pretty awful.
So
you multitask when you're doing it, so you
honestly,
don't like die of boredom.
You won't miss anything.
What was it that you said that you were like, oh, it's like you're watching it and you're waiting for like the actual movie to start?
Yeah.
Yeah, basically. That's the entire thing. Though I have to admit, speaking of the traps, I thought that the last trap was interesting with, not the last trap, but like the one with the
overarching
and
one.
that one I thought was actually really interesting.
I noticed this time watching it that I didn't notice the first time is that there's a big theme about scales and balance in this one.
Yeah.
The overarching trap,
actually.
the one that they start with the chains.
Yeah.
There's the 2 keys, one saves a life, one takes away.
There's the one with the husband and wife, I think it is.
Yeah.
Where they're, like tied up together.
Yeah. There's a lot more symbolism of 2 in this one than
in one's previous.
Yeah, like
And again,
usually
reasons it's better than the 6.
Usually they're like the trap number is like the number of the movie. Like the next one is 5, and 5 is the number theme for that movie.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like
It starts with 5 people.
No, I feel like 5 is the only one that does that.
Maybe.
Yeah, because 2 had a bunch of people. Like 2 had a
Two
One
still
had
has
3 people.
5. The next one that we're gonna watch, 5, has my favorite traps. Everything else plot-wise in the movie is really boring, but I really like the traps. Every time they're like, let's cut away from the traps and go back to the cop drama, I'm like, all right, I'll just do something else now.
Anyway, we're gonna watch it. We'll get back to it
alright.
when we actually do.
Rating for this one.
Let's do ratings. Good thing, bad thing.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go 3 out of 10.
It's probably what
I'm gonna be like a little different. I'll just do like 3.4.
3.4.
Favorite thing I liked in
Tracy
that
just
film?
wants to be special.
I think probably, like I said, that trap, the electrocuting ice trap, I think was really interesting.
Yeah.
I did like how we got to see Jigsaw's past, but then segue into my bad point, I thought the past was super lame. Like, give it way more depth
It was
for
like,
this character.
great, we finally get this character, but that was really fucking lame.
Yeah,
that was like
really
the worst backstory.
Yeah.
It's sad and it's heart-wrenching, but it's,
you don't go and kill people.
It's not
for
serial
that.
killer motive.
It's not serial killer motive, absolutely.
Looking back, I really like the theme of the 2s and the balance.
Yeah,
I think
that's really cool.
That's a really cool theme. I also give it a 3 out of 10.
I said 3 out of 10.
What do you like about it?
I like the symbolism, and I like the fact that the plot isn't as shitty as 5 and 6. The plot is, at least in my opinion, capable of being followed
See,
without dying of boredom.
We'll talk about 5 soon. All right. Yes, this is how we're gonna start the video.
Perfect.
All right, 5. We lost Nikki. 5 has my favorite traps, but this is when the plot gets super bullshit, and they try to fill in who's the new Jigsaw and have you like not knowing things that happened in between other movies, but you don't really care what happened in between other movies. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really like that the person who is the new Jigsaw looks exactly like the cop. I was complaining about it the whole movie because I was like, guys, who is that? I don't
Tracy
know.
was constantly like, which one is that?
It's like they're
I
just
don't-
both 2 white guys. Like I don't know. They
They're
actually
2,
looked
like,
very similar.
brunette, average white guys with no distinguishing features between
Yeah,
them.
and I was like, it was really confusing because that's really important when you're
Yeah.
really they're 2 very distinct characters. You really need to know
the protagonist and antagonist should not look
should not
exactly
look the same, so
unless that's the plot of your movie.
in which case, whatever. But that is not the plot of this movie. So,
The
yeah,
traps.
I do agree that I think the traps were the strongest part of the movie. I think that. Yeah, I thought they were really good. I liked the 5 people. We were yelling at the characters because they're really stupid. I mean, let's be real, that's one of the things that we watch in horror movies
Yeah.
because we yell at the characters because they do crazy things. But I think, like, a lot of it is, I'm trying to think, like, if we were put in this incidents, like, you know, we would
we
be...
talked about it.
Yeah.
The way the ones in 5 work is there's 5 traps, right? 4 or 5
I
traps.
think there's...
Um,
How many are there actually in there? There's the first one, which is like the key one.
no,
and then
there's the
well,
key one,
the key one,
the pipes,
the
shocking,
pipes.
the last one. There's 4.
This is 4.
There's
okay.
4 traps. And in each of the traps, they lost one person because somebody had to die to finish the thing, but they were really supposed to work together so they all live. So that the last trap, where they have to give a bunch of blood, would be a lot easier on them because you'd have each of them only giving 2 pints of blood instead of 2 of them giving 5 pints.
5 each, yeah.
Which is probably not survivable. And we talked about this in the first trap. Sense that somebody dies, that they don't think to work together
Yeah.
because they're panicking. They have
Yeah.
1 minute to go across the room and get these things before their heads get chopped off.
Yeah.
But in the second trap, the pipes are clearly big enough for more than 1 person.
Yeah.
So it was kind of. I understand on the one hand they don't trust each other, so why would they try to help each other?
That's something that I feel like I've noticed in particularly in the Saw movies, whereas other horror movies that doesn't really seem to be applicable. Like maybe it's because a lot of times in horror movies you're with your friends, but like in these horror movies these characters don't trust each other, and I think that's like a really important
Yeah.
thing because it's like you're in there with these strangers and then they're all like, oh, you did this to me. I was like, the person who's doing this to you are not is not
Yeah.
gonna put themselves in the same like place as you. Like it's just not gonna happen.
Also, like in the pipe one, the guy who they kill off was an asshole to them. Nobody wanted
Right.
to save him. Nobody.
Right.
That makes sense.
Yeah. But then the first girl you felt bad for because you were like you didn't know her and you didn't know what was going on and
Yeah.
you know. Yeah, yeah, I definitely agree that the panic definitely comes into play here, you know, with the oh my goodness.
I really like the theme of if you endure pain together, the pain is less than if you take it by yourself.
Yeah, no, I liked that too. And I think like that was something interesting. Like I was thinking about it, what if the characters had known that if they worked together, like it would have been easier on them.
Yeah, if they
like I'm
realized
kind
that
of
in
wondering
Trap
if they
2.
realized that, you know, it would have been interesting to see like how it would have gone if it had been the 5 of them. But I don't think that was the
Yeah.
point. Like, you know, the movie was trying to.
Yeah, I actually think the most powerful scene is in this movie is in that last trap with the guy and the girl
Yeah,
when they realize.
and then they're talking. Yeah,
he was
they
actually
do.
a pretty good actor. I liked him, and I thought he actually
Yeah, they were
gave
pretty okay.
an emotional performance for assault,
I
which
think
is a big deal.
I think like a lot of times what happens with these actors though is like that they're on screen for such a little amount of time that it's
Yeah.
like I think they really need to, and that's something because I used to act like that was something that was really when you have a smaller role your job gets harder actually. People think it's easier but it's harder because you have less time to establish your character and have less time to establish you and get your audience to care about you. And I think that's definitely relevant in these movies is like, you know, when you're watching a horror movie and you don't care what happens to the characters, you're like, well, they could all die, I don't care at all, like, or like do you actually care about the characters and like what happens to them? And I think like that can be a thing that I think those movies kind of flop, you know, because they have so many characters that it's like why would you not like why would you care about them and not care about them, but like they don't do enough and they don't give enough story for you to care for them.
Yeah. This is my second favorite one after 2 of the Saw films.
That's reasonable. I was distracted mildly.
Yeah.
And when I saw
and then
mildly, I
our
mean, a
speaker
lot.
and then our speaker cut out.
Yeah, my
We didn't
speaker
hear
cut
half the
out,
dialogue.
and so it was really hard because like my computer is not good on sound because it's not good on sound. So
I think
which
it's
is
better than
weird.
4,
it's actually really funny because like
I
my
stand by
other
that it's
laptop
better
is
than
better.
4.
It is way better than 4. Yeah. My
Maybe
old
it's wrong.
laptop
It's
had
fine.
much better speakers, which is weird. My old laptop had better sound than my new one. Isn't that weird?
I'm trying to remember what the sound on mine. I have a Mac Pro, so it's not that great either.
I don't know. Gracious speakers are actually really good. But, yeah.
Yeah,
We're
all right.
talking about your speakers. They're really good.
So I give this one. I really like the traps, so I'll give it a 7 out of 10.
Maybe like 6. You know, it's pretty good. Like I think that I don't know which one's my favorite. I feel like it's either 1 or 2. I really like 2 a lot.
I really like.
I'm also
it too.
really bummed though that we haven't been seeing Amanda more in these because she's like my favorite character.
But
And
she's gone now.
no, I know,
Yeah.
but we're getting Jigsaw's like backstory.
Yeah.
But I'm like I want Amanda. Like I want more of Amanda's basically.
I'm
You know?
trying to remember if we see any more of her. I think.
I know she's in each of the movies. Like she's flashbacks.
Yeah, I think maybe in the next one they show us what happened with her, why she really shot the girl.
Okay.
And I think that's probably the last we see.
Oh,
of her.
we should talk about Jigsaw's wife actually.
Yeah.
What do we think about her? What do you think about her?
I think it's a pretty relevant plot piece.
Relevant or irrelevant?
Irrelevant.
They could have made it relevant.
They
They absolutely could have made it
But it
relevant.
was-
They didn't give her the stupid thing together.
They're putting her in so they have more excuses for flashbacks with
Yes.
Toby.
Absolutely. I love how you call him Toby. I think
Yeah.
it's the greatest thing ever.
Because he's the best actor in the series.
Yeah,
and
he is. He's really good.
they realized early on that he's pulling the series together and they need him
Yeah.
on screen.
Absolutely.
We have 6 next. 6 is also 6 maybe worse than 4. We'll see. I don't know if
okay.
we're not gonna watch that one tonight though.
Yeah, I feel like something that I don't like that these movies do though is there's so much about the cop drama.
Yeah.
And something that I really liked in 2 in particular, I don't want to say 2 is better than 1 because 1 is pretty much a cult. It's a cult classic. It really is.
I'll say 2 is better
But
than
like that's reasonable, but I think like where it all started, like I have
Yeah.
to give it to 1 though, you know. But one thing I would say is 1 and 2 I think focus less on the cop drama. 1 hardly does it. 1 doesn't do all pretty. It does.
One
but
is
it's,
that one guy.
It's minimal though, and I feel like these couple of movies have been so focused on what the cops are doing.
Yeah.
When I don't really care. Like I give it to me, but give it to me less. And I think that's been like a huge
Yeah.
turn off for me. So I feel like I'm watching NCIS. Or I never watched NCIS
Yeah.
before, but I feel like I'm watching NCIS.
I called it CSI Jigsaw.
Or CSI, whatever. Yeah.
It's
So
CSI with some torture porn thrown in there.
yeah,
so
it's
that's fine.
actually what this is.
This is also at this point. It's like we're gonna show you as much gore as possible because that's what our movies are known for.
Yeah.
And I'm not a huge fan of gore, even though I say I really like these films. I just really like the way the traps work. So at this point, it's like, all right, that's great that you cut your hand in half. I really don't need a full 10 seconds of that on the screen. Thanks.
Yeah, I feel like when 1 came out, I feel like it was so much simpler. Like 1 is such a, like I said, it's such a classic, but it's like I don't feel like they push it. Like I don't
Yeah.
think they're like, oh hey cool, here's how much blood we can show you. Here's some fake blood we can show you.
1 built up to the 1 scene of intense gore.
Yeah.
And it worked as a film because they were building up to the 1 scene of intense
Right.
gore. They were like, we're gonna keep them mild and then we're gonna shock you with this. Because it became shock horror, and the only way they know how to shock you is with gore. That's what the series became.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate because it's a pretty cool premise, I think. And if they worked
Yeah.
more on a story and less on shock horror, I think it
Yeah.
could have been really, really cool.
I think they could have definitely used some help with the writing and with the thing. And we were actually talking about Tobin Bell, who plays Jigsaw, like how he would a lot of times like, and this is what you told me, that he would
Yeah.
like make up his own lines or whatever.
I
And
said in an
like,
interview, I've heard in an interview, like one of the producers or directors or whatever was like, they stopped writing lines for him because at some point he was like, that's great, but I think my character would say more something like this, and they just started being like Tobin monologues in the script, and he
I
would
think
just do
that's
it.
great. I just think that's like fantastic, and I love that they did that. But yeah, I mean, like one of the things, like I'm a writer, so like this is something that like I feel like it's a very common writer problem is like how do you get dialogue to sound realistic and how do you get dialogue to be like so I always read my dialogue out loud to myself and if it sounds weird like I think they could definitely use help in the writing department.
They change writers like times and it doesn't help.
I think that does it as well too is if you have like the consistency like of the writers and the directors and things like that I do think that makes a huge difference. Harry Potter movies example are like a really good example. It's like the first two were directed by the same person and then
three they changed.
And then a lot of people say the first two are the best movies and
the first two keep the closest to the book.
They keep the closest to the book, right?
And then three had the new director and the new director
just went
focus on something else.
Downhill.
Yeah. I was gonna say something else that you about dialogue. I'm okay if the dialogue sounds strange. Like everything Jigsaw says sounds strange because he's crazy. So everything he's saying is gonna sound a little off. And that's fine. If your character is realistically off, then he should speak that way. But when you have characters who are supposed to be regular people and they don't sound like regular people, or cops that don't sound like cops, or people who sound more like cops than regular people.
I can't really think of a great example, especially in like this movie. I'm trying to think of like what was
other than the traps, this movie is very forgettable, which is unfortunate. I like the cop drama does build up to that last trap, and I like how that last trap is set up.
I thought the last trap was really interesting, but I feel like another thing I want to talk about was the twists. The twists just keep getting progressively worse. Like the first was amazing, arguably one of the best twist things in anything ever. The second is good. I really like it. The third was okay, and then the fourth was I don't remember because it just wasn't good.
The twist in the fourth was that was taking place during 3. That was the twist.
Oh, that's dumb.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, okay. See, I was hardly paying attention to notice that. It was bad.
I just know because I watched these movies. When these were on Netflix, I was constantly watching and rewatching these movies because I don't need to sleep. It's fine.
It's fine. And then the twist in this one was just that the glass thing. That he goes in the glass thing and he's safe.
I guess one of the twists was that all of them were supposed to survive. And then the other twist was
I don't know if that's
he
so
ends
much
up
of a twist.
framing the guy, I guess.
Yeah.
But I like that. I think that was a fitting end for that character. I wish that character was written better, but given how he was written, I think that was a fitting end. I think there's a well-written end, actually, that he's like, step in this box, it'll be painful, you'll be playing Jigsaw's game, but you'll live. And he's like, yeah, fuck that, and he fights the guy.
Pushes
the other guy in the box.
In the thing. That was really cool.
To be like, hi, now you're in the thing, and then Jigsaw's like...
Speaking of the new Jigsaw, actually, I feel very underwhelmed by the character, by the new antagonist. And I feel like...
He doesn't emote.
I feel like when you have, like, this antagonist, when you have Jigsaw, who's one of the best villains, I think people would say, like, of all time, and I would agree as well, you have this great villain, and then you try to, like, beat that, it's like, no. And I think, like, when you had someone, like, taking on the traps, like, Amanda was fine, and, like, because, again, she's a well-written character, and she was really designed and done in a different, her character was written in a different purpose. I don't remember his
name. He's one of the detective guys.
They all honestly
who replaces Jigsaw, and he wasn't introduced very well. He's explained more like why he's doing this in this film, and I kind of like the idea that he wanted to get back at his sister's, I think his sister's murderer or rapist or whatever, and then frame it on Jigsaw because he knew he could get away with it. Then I think that's a really brilliant idea, but they didn't do anything further with the character, and he's just Jigsaw's puppet. Yeah. And now that Jigsaw's dead, he's still a puppet. He's now a puppet without anybody working through him, so he seems very bland.
I don't think, like, I don't get overwhelmed by him at all. Like, I just don't. I just feel like when you set up this great antagonist like Jigsaw and then you have someone try to take the place of him and do the same thing, you have to, like, bring it to the table. Yeah. And I don't feel like he does that for me.
See, I think 7 does this better. You haven't seen 7 yet, and I don't want to ruin that twist for you. 7, actually, the twist is kind of obvious in the beginning, but I think 7 is one of the better written ones because I think they have a different writer again, and they tried a little harder on the plot.
Yeah, I mean, it was the final chapter, so that makes sense. But even though they're coming out with
Eight was announced. Yeah, I think 7 was actually good. If they were trying to do a wrap up, 7 was good.
And then, I don't know what ended up happening, but I was reading the Wikipedia page or whatever, and then I was like, oh, there's 7 films, right? And then I saw an 8th, and I was like, 8th? I was like, I don't remember seeing that. And then it was coming out, and I was like, okay, I don't know when.
It's been in production for a couple of years.
Oh, I'm gonna actually look it up right now because I'm curious.
I'm not saying I won't see it because I absolutely will see it.
1200% will see this movie.
I don't have high hopes for it, but with how long it's taking, maybe it'll actually be good.
I don't know. I don't have high hopes. I don't have high hopes for it either. It's called Saw Legacy. It's called Saw Legacy.
Well, yeah, because at the end of Saw 7 we see a bunch of people, so hopefully it'll be about that. Or they'll just forget that they included a bunch of people, and that's fine.
Oh, the director for 2, 3, and 4, that's interesting, was the same. Huh. Alright, cool. Tell me about Saw Legacy. It was announced on February 2nd, 2016. And it doesn't tell me any more than that. Thanks for that. Okay.
The link, she's pressing the link.
I'm pressing the link and it's
link
not
back to that exact spot.
Thank you very much. Thanks for playing on The Price is Right. Yeah, I like the Rotten Tomatoes percentages, how they just keep going down and down and down. They just keep going worse and worse.
Wow, Saw 3D has a 9%. I don't think it was a 9%.
I'm surprised the first one actually has 48%. That's really surprising.
I think retroactively people have been rating it poorly. Like when it first came out, it got much higher ratings, and I think for the that's when in the first thing I rate it pretty badly, and I think that's because I'm watching it now with the knowledge of all the other films. If it had been the first one of its kind and I was just seeing it for the first time, I'm sure I would have rated better. Which I actually did enjoy it better the first time I saw it before I saw the rest of the Saw films. Because obviously I watched the rest of them. So.
Yeah. But yeah, we rated. Okay, favorite thing we liked about this. I think we can collectively agree the traps. I think we're just really good.
These are my favorite traps besides 2.
Yes, and I liked I like the something I've noticed is I think that, so going back to the character thing, how like I like it when there are multiple characters. What I mean is I like well-developed characters, because you can have multiple characters and they can be well-developed, and I think like I think 2 kind of does like a pretty okay job with that. Like you care collectively, I think, about the characters. Yeah, if you don't know them very well.
2, I think, also has pretty decent writing.
I think the writing in 2 is actually pretty okay.
It's writing for the Saw series, so it still has a lower bar, but
yeah. But I don't know. I think like in this one, I think like with the characters, I liked the community like aspect. Like I like there's not just one person that you're focusing on in a trap. Like I like that there's multiple people that they had to work together or like whatever. Yeah. And I think you could honestly say that about 2. I know we keep drawing parallels to them, but I feel like it's hard not to because I think they relate so much. But I think that there was a community aspect, I think, of 2 as well, when they needed like the numbers for the safe or whatever. But then there was also that competition, whereas I think 5 didn't really have, but they made it a competition, which they shouldn't have done. But how would they have known that?
There's also the one thing connects all you people here.
Yeah.
Which was a lot more solid in 2 and 5 than in the other.
Do you think that if they had been told, the people in 5, if they had been told, hey, if you guys need to work together in order to complete this, do you think that they would have brushed it off, or do you think that they would have listened, or do you think that it would have been the same thing?
I still think the journalist guy would have been an asshole, and I think he would have still died because he would have tried to do exactly what he did in the movie, which is try to benefit himself, and the others would take him down. But I think besides him, the others might have listened.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. Like, I do think that it added a really interesting dynamic if that had been said or not, because like, you know, they figured it out towards the end, but that was too late. So
I feel like it was a little unfair. I realized this again when we watched it. It was a little unfair of Jigsaw because in the second trap, he says, which of you will be the odd one out, instead of leaving it. And if he had just left that off, I don't think they would have been like, okay, only one person per tube. I think they would have been like, wait, there's room for one more person in this tube.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, was that a thing that they didn't even think about? They didn't even think about, like, putting 2 people in one? Because I think that totally would have worked.
I'm a little annoyed they didn't even think about it, like, retroactively.
Yeah. Again, I think it's the I do think that a lot of it is the panic. Like,
I think a lot of the poor writing, too. Like, in 2, remember, they kept trying things even after... in 2 and 1, they tried all the things before they came to the one thing that they had to do. they kept trying to do things where they wouldn't get hurt or they wouldn't have to.
Yeah.
Somebody wouldn't have to die.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of funny that in 2, all of them were willing to work together, and they were all convicted criminals, and in 5, they were all really privileged people, and they couldn't work together.
Yeah, it is really interesting, actually. I didn't even think about that. Yeah. But yeah, cop drama needs to go away.
Yeah.
Is one of my negative things.
I have
Just please stop.
news for you. It doesn't go away.
It's not really hard.
But it's okay. There's only 2 more movies, and then
Because I'm surprised that they kept it going. I really am.
yeah. You know what? I should see if they have the Saw games for Mac, and then we can play the Saw games.
Dude, that sounds amazingly awful. I love it.
Yeah.
Sounds great. Okay, cool.
Right.
Cool. I think we're Gucci Prada. Okay, bye.